I did mention the fact that, well, from the southeastern part of the country, you find security challenges, right? In the north central part of the country, Plateau State precisely, there's a major security challenge. And then when you go to Taraba State, you find another major security challenge. Chief Momoh Darlington, let's before we get down to the details and the nitty-gritty of the security challenges facing this different states and regions, what do you make of, if you look at the general overview of the security situation in the country right now? How do you feel, and what's your take?
I feel sad, even though it's in comparison. The situation is better than what we had last year. But like I said on a television station yesterday, I am saddened at the loss of one life of any Nigerian. Nigeria has become a state, a country where premium is no longer placed on human lives. Growing up in this country, particularly in Lagos State, at a point in time, when we hear about the demise of a human being, there was this kind of fear, that brings out goose pimples in us. Even passing in front of that house becomes a challenge. Today, in some parts of Nigeria, you see dead bodies and the news of people dying here and there, people being slaughtered, people being roasted in their sleep, like we just experienced in Plateau State, or we have been experiencing in Plateau State, particularly in the Magu local government, give me a lot of cause to be saddened. The situation in the country, apparently one expected that since December last year, even before December, when the former president gave a marching order to the outgone service chiefs, as led by General Irabo, we saw a reduction in all of that. But surprisingly, the situation across the maybe the North Central now has not really been abated. And so it gives me worries and it gives me concern. Recently, new service chiefs were appointed. We're waiting for to complete that circle. We're waiting for the Minister of Defense. Otherwise, we have the NSA in place. We have the Chief of Defense Staff. We have the Inspector General of Police. We have the Chief of Army Staff already. We have the Chief of Naval Staff. We also have the Chief of Air Staff. And so, aside from the Minister for Defense, all other persons, even including the intelligence heads, are in place, are in position, and they have resumed former duties. My concern is that for what we are experiencing now, particularly on that North Central belt, just yesterday or the day before, the commander in Plateau State did say they were relocating to Magu local government. And to me, I said that was coming a bit late. That was coming a bit late because aside from looking for a lasting solution to a situation, its insecurity situation that has antecedents, you should immediately find a way of arresting that situation first, before even looking at a long-term solution to that problem. Magu has been, these bandits or whoever they are, have been coming to Magu to slaughter and burn. Women are not spared, children are not spared. And then the security agencies there have only been reactionary. They come when the havoc has been done, they parade that place, and the people are pointing, accusing fingers at them, and then they disappear. And then these killers reappear again. And then you visit again when the destruction, the havoc has been done. and then you wait again for them to come before you go again to see the damage. Are you merely going there to video or see the damage that is being done or that has been done? Why not station men there, for goodness sake, for now, when you know that place is on fire?
All right, just to get into the details as mentioned. Now, it's been reported that the Arewa Consultative Forum and Jamaatul Nasir Islam and the Christian Association of Nigeria have condemned the recent killings in Mangu local government area of Plateau and some parts of Benue State. This is as gunmen killed no fewer than 8 persons, including an 8-month-old baby in the Farin-Lamba community of Wang district of Jos South local government area of Plateau, and that was on Sunday night. The incident came a day after an attack was launched on the Sabongari community of Mangu local government area of the state, where many lives were reportedly lost and houses burned. And according to the National Publicity Secretary of Birom, Youth Molders Wang Tengwong, he said the attackers arrived in the community at about 9:45 late at night when many of the people were asleep, and that 8-month-old baby and her father were returning from the hospital when they met their untimely death. And that's the situation in Mangu local government. I think it was 2 days ago the governor of the state of Plateau State declared a 24-hour curfew in that local government. It's not the
first time, Kingsley. It's not the first time they are declaring curfew. It's not the first time. But what solution has that? What succor has that curfew brought to that place? Has it brought sanity to Mangu? For goodness sake, are we saying the governor of that place for now does not have security report concerning the source, the origin, the genesis of this problem?
But that's what brought about the...
Hang on, Kingsley. There have been accusations and counter-accusations. Now, the people of Mangu, the simple problem in that place is not intercommunal conflict. It's not about intracommunal conflict. It's the header-farmer issue. Now, the people of Mangu have said often that the headers have they destroyed their crops. You remember how this whole thing started again? A farmer went to his farm and said that it was reported that farmer met his crops being destroyed by the header and his animals. And then there was an issue, and then that farmer was killed. And then there was a reprisal attack. And then there was a reprisal attack. Now, if that is established, Kingsley, I would say that from antecedent, having had all of this, the Mayati Allah, the chairman of that place, came up to say that the headers are also being killed, and then their animals are being rustled. Now, the point I want to bring out here that I want to establish is that the singular problem or the singular source or the people involved in this conflict are on two sides. One, they are on the right hand side, they are farmers. On the left hand side, they are headers. So why not bring representatives of these persons? Now, if the headers say that the grazing routes have been encroached by farmers, even in this age, Kingsley, and then the farmers are saying that their crops are being destroyed. Don't forget that Plateau State is one of the food baskets of Nigeria. Kingsley, one of the food baskets. Now, if we must have food security, it means that we must protect the food basket of this country. And so, if we know that if the people of Mangu are saying those who are involved in this killing are those they refer to as Fulani militia, okay? Now, and those other ones are also claiming that their people are being killed, and then even that their people are being killed with the aid of some security agents. Okay, now, why can't the governor set up a committee made up of security agents and some technocrats? Bring representatives of these two factions together, sit them on a round table, and have a discussion. If you have a discussion, you ask Mr. A, what are the challenges? You ask Mr. B, what are the problems? And then you ask Mr. A again, how do we go about it? What is the way forward? You ask this one. Look, Kingsley, there's no major war fought across the world where at the end of the day, they never came back to sit on the round table to discuss and bring a lasting solution and then bringing that war to an end. What are we talking about here, Kingsley? Must we continue to read and hear and discuss and analyze on radio and television on daily basis, wanting destruction of lives, of infants, of women and young men? No.
Chief Darlington. So, just a few days ago, the former governor of Zamfara State, Ahmed Yerima, proposed to the President Tinubu that Boko Haram insurgents and bandits should be, there should be a way to de-radicalize them and then, grant them amnesty, just like the Niger Delta militants were granted amnesty. What's your view on this?
No,
since you are talking about since you are talking about a roundtable discussion, that's why this is coming up.
Yes, I saw that what Yerima said. Yerima has been at the middle. Yerima is from Zamfara State. He's a senator, and he has seen some of those things. America will always tell you that they don't negotiate with terrorists, but over time we have found that is not correct. I'll give you an instance. One life to America is precious. If you remember when America, through the king of Qatar, negotiated with the Taliban just for the release of one man, one soldier, a Sergeant Bo. And the demand of the Taliban was that 5 of their commanders should be released in exchange for Sergeant Bo. And America conceded. Those Taliban were in Gautama Bay. America considered release those 5 deadly commanders of the Taliban that were held, that were arrested. This was negotiation, and then there was peace. The 5 Taliban were released. The Sergeant Bo was also given back to America, and then was taken first to, I think, Israel, and then before he was readmitted into America. For goodness sake, at times of conflict, you use the kinetic approach and then you use the non-kinetic approach. These 2 approaches, they have their times. To answer your question directly, I want to bring back to your knowledge. I want us to remind us when the bandits attacked the Abuja Kaduna corridor train bound and took away captives. The kinetic approach was initially adopted, but at a point in time, individuals were now paying to the kidnappers to have their relatives, their fathers, their parents released. Do you remember that? But what happened eventually? Irabo, the former chief of defense staff, appointed a 5 or 7 man committee and adopted the non-kinetic approach. They went and discussed with the kidnappers, and they reached a conclusion. All of the men and women who were now remaining, who were now left, were they not released? Were they not released?
Eventually.
You are not answering me, please.
Yes, they were.
Well, I mean, I
don't know why your attention is diverted.
I suppose that was rhetoric. But we need to, because of time, also touch on the southeastern part of the country.
But they have not responded. Is it not aware about the non-kinetic approach?
We are the ones asking the questions here, Chief Darlington. So...
you ask questions, and then I also have to ask you to be sure you understood or you are aware.
All right.
That's taken.
Anyway, let's go to the southeastern part of the country where business activities were paralyzed yesterday as residents continue to observe the 7 days sit at home directive by the separatist leader and Finland-based Simon Ekpa. The roads were dotted by few people who braved the odds to attend their daily needs. And, reporters who monitored the situation in Owerri Metropolis. Owerri is the capital of Imo State. Report that markets, banks, schools, and supermarkets were closed. We've seen in recent days videos circulating social media of what, if you like, again, identify them as unknown gunmen, men masked with different, form of identification, terrorizing residents in the southeastern part of the country. And these issues continue. Chief Umoru Darlington, what's going on in the southeastern part of the country? There are those who are saying that those perpetrating what's going on in the southeastern part of the country right now do not want Nnamdi Kanu released. As a matter of fact, Governor Peter Mba of Enugu State has said those enforcing the sit-at-home order in the state, that's in his state, Enugu State, and other parts of the southeastern part of the country, are not seeking the release of Nnamdi Kanu. He spoke on Saturday during a media chat with Enugu-based reporters and media executives at the government house in Enugu, and you recall that he spoke boldly about the activities of the of certain men, the unknown gunmen, if you like, in the state. What's your thought on what's going on in the southeast right now, and how can this be resolved?
Very sad, very sad, very sad. I said that 3 times, and I want us to look at this issue from 3 points of view. The first point of view is that the activities of Simon Ekpa, well, his pronouncements is not helping the economy of the Southeasterners, our brothers, our sisters, our friends who are resident in the Southeast, including the indigenous. Aba used to be like the China, the Taiwan, the Korea of Africa, Nigeria. There used to be lots of production from Aba. There used to be lots of production from Nnewi. There used to be lots of production from Ebonyi. All of that have been crippled. There are our brothers and sisters who are there, who are from that place, who lives on daily income, whose lives depend on daily income. All of that today has been crippled. Poverty is crippling in. For those who cannot fry akara or do little businesses that fetch them money to feed and for the upkeep of their families, today they are suffering. What about the Onitsha main market? The Onitsha main market that is known across the continent of Africa is gradually depleting. It's being depleted. That is on the side of the economy, Kingsley. Simon Ekpa is imposing restriction of movement on a region, but he is far away in Finland, moving as a free man, enjoying his life, doing his business, but yet he's creating problem for us in Nigeria. Yet we respect him. The fear has so much been instilled in the people with the use of small arms and light weapons, to the extent that those pronouncements are grossly respected for the fear of the outcome. People who disrespected that stay at home threat, we have seen many who have lost their lives. On Mondays now, there are no economic activities or movement or school in the whole of the Southeast. And you have extended it to 7 days. Untouchable and Flower Boy, they traveled from Enugu to Lagos last week. But if you saw the entourage that those two young men had, because they must be in Lagos. Otosefo came to celebrate his birthday in Lagos. But because they must leave the southeast, he left with an entourage. I teased him. I said this was like a presidential entourage. Security guard. Kingsley, for how long would we continue in this manner? The governors of the southeast must rise up. The security agents or agencies in the southeast must rise up. The military must rise up. The people themselves must rise up to say enough is enough. This is not infiltration. This is not bandits coming from another part of the country to impose or to kill them. It is their own people that are gradually killing them with hunger, killing them with threats, killing them with small arms and light weapons.
Chief Momoh Darlinghtyn, security consultant, is our guest this morning on the Discourse, and we're discussing the state of the nation. We're looking at security challenges across the country. You can be part of the conversation. It's time for you to grab the mic and be here and talk to us about what you make of this conversation. Security in Nigeria, the southeastern part of the country, the major farmer headers clashes going on also in the north central part of the country. Mangu local government area of Plateau State is where a major challenge also is happening. Take the mic is right now.
Take the mic. We want to hear you. On the Low FM Morning Show.
So grab the mic, and you've got the chance to do so while we have Chief Momoh Darlinghtyn still very much on the line. While we take calls and contributions, Chief Momoh, let's also talk about some of the challenges or some of the solutions that people have mentioned. There are those calling for the release of Nnamdi Kanu, and they say that would fix this problem. We'll get your thoughts on that in a moment, but let's take this call. Hello, good morning.
Yeah, Mr. Kingsley, Emmanuel, calling back.
Hi, thank you for calling again.
Exactly the question I wanted to ask our analyst, because when you want to talk about he talked about what started the crisis. But when you want to talk about the fact, he didn't say how this sit-at-home order started and what the people think. I wanted to ask him, did he think that if Nnamdi Kanu is released, that sit-at-home order will go away? I wanted him to answer that question. And not as if people are asking him for his release as if he's guilty. The court has said he should be released, but the president kept him dead. So you really think that if they release Nnamdi Kanu, that sit-at-home will continue? That is my question.
Alrighty, thank you for your question. We'll get your question across. Of course, I popped that question just before we took your calls. Well, keep them calls coming in 0703 2277 338 and 0909 555 1039 numbers to call to join the conversation. You can also send in a WhatsApp message via the number 0703 2277 338. Remember, you can also call that number and you can go straight to Facebook and drop your comments as well. I've got this message via WhatsApp, and this one says Nigeria, or the problem of Nigeria has been injustice, which can never bring about peace and harmony in the society where it is practicing. Okay, we'll get to this message and complete that. A long one. Let's take this call. Hello there, good morning.
Hello, Kingsley, good morning.
Hi, good morning to you.
Felix, good morning, Counsel.
Yes, good morning.
My good morning goes to Chief Darlington, as online.
You can hear you.
As Mr. Darlington was explaining, my heart was bleeding. I wouldn't know why all these things is happening to Nigerians. In the north, killing every day, every minute, every hour. There's that yesterday, 8 months killed. It's our government telling us the truth that they don't know what is happening, or we cannot stop it. What about the whole military forces we have? Armed forces, this, that, or police, or whatever, and yet that is not in the places. In the southeast, where I come from, Oh, it's pathetic. Very, very pathetic. Look at that man in Finland giving order and people to eat. Even if you say they should feed, they should go out, they say they are not going because of fear. Fear have entered that nobody can move on a particular Monday. It is not possible. Even when it is not declared, in the East, you cannot live by Monday. It's not possible. Honestly, whether it is declared or not, ever since that thing has been done, nobody goes there because of fear. I don't know. Where are we heading to? What's this thing ourselves? My heart bleeds. I have no much words to say.
Thank you so much for your contribution. Appreciate you joining the program. All right. Chief Umoru Momoh Darlington. Okay, so before we come to you, let's take this contribution via WhatsApp. It says, Nigeria's problems has been injustice which can never bring about peace and harmony in society where it is practicing. Everyone knows the truth that this killing is sponsored by who, by the who is who, and the government cannot claim they don't know anything concerning this. But in Nigeria, everything is politicized. But they should not worry. I believe in the long run, when it touches the rich and becomes unabated, they will call for calm and peace, and it will be far away from their reach. This is from Chika Bende from Trade Fair Lagos. Thank you, Chika Bende, for texting. Appreciate that. Let's go straight to Chief Momoh Darlington.
Before Chief Darlington responds to that question from Mr. Emmanuel, I think it's also important that he responds to this as well, because we are looking for a solution. Mr. Emmanuel was asking if Nnamdi Kanu is released, would that bring peace to the southeast? Just some days ago, the federal government has, concluded plans to prosecute over 2,000, Boko Haram suspects, those who have, destroyed, over 35,000 lives, in the south, in the northeast. What's your view on this? Do you think that prosecution is the best solution? Because you have also, Ahmed Yerima talked about giving, amnesty to Boko Haram suspects and bandits. Now there's prosecution. Someone is saying if Nnamdi Kanu is released, will that bring peace? How do you make meaning out of all of this? Chief Darlington. Hello, Chief Darlington. Did you get the question?
Did you get
the question?
We can hear you now.
I got the question.
Beautiful.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
I'll respond. I said I'll respond to your question. Your question is in two parts.
Yes.
One is the release of Nnamdi Kanu. Two, whether prosecution is the best answer to resolving insecurity.
Yes, since the former governor has called for amnesty or had advocated for
I'll
amnesty.
respond to that. First off, our president, His Excellency President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, at the ECOWAS summit, where he was elected as the new chairman of ECOWAS, he made a statement. He said democracy is the best form of government or governance. If democracy is the best form of governance, it meant that the judicial, there are three arms that must serve under a democratic government: the legislature, the executive, and the judiciary. All of them are meant to function differently and separately. So, if you make arrest, you allow the judiciary to play its role. And the judiciary has said Nnamdi Kanu should be granted bail. Nnamdi Kanu, even from where he is, in detention with the DSS, had sent a message across to the Southeasterners to say that IPOP is not responsible, is no longer responsible for the sit-at-home this thing that is being enforced in the Southeast, and that it should be stopped. But has it been stopped even with his pronouncement? That's number one. Number two, if the court says release Nnamdi Kanu, why is the government still keeping him? Where that is left to the government and the DSS, who apparently will have or know the reasons why they still want to have him with them. But the truth is, if the court says release Nnamdi Kanu, I think Nnamdi Kanu should be released on bail. If you release Nnamdi Kanu and Nnamdi Kanu is on ground in the southeast. You could release him, but ensure that he does not go out of the country while the matter is still in court. And so if you have an Nnamdi Kanu release, I think that will quell or bring down some tempers that are hot at the moment. Ohaneze Ndigbo has said Nnamdi Kanu should be released. They had met, even representatives have met with the former president, talking about Buhari, where they had to discuss the release of Nnamdi Kanu. The governor, some of the governors like Soludo, has even pleaded, say, release him. I will stand for him. Anytime you want him, I will bring him. These are the mouthpieces of the southeast. Why not release this man and then let even use this man to work on his people? Reach an agreement with him. Discuss with him. You are merely releasing him on bail. You are not setting him free completely. But release him on bail. Let him deal with his people. Then let us see whether his presence in the southeast would not stop the sit-at-home Mondays.
The flip side to this would be that, the government also will tell you at some point he was, and this is not to speak for government or to, and again, just bringing forward the flip side, which is the fact that government will tell you, well, there was a time when he was released on bail and he fled the country. So what happens now? How are you sure that won't repeat itself? And one second, just before you respond, Chief Darlington, when Nnamdi Kanu was released on bail the first time when this trial started, did he fix the security situation in the southeastern part of the country, or there are bigger things beyond just having the man walk free?
Kingsley, that page you're trying to open is very broad. Because the Nnamdi Kanu also has his own side to this story. Nnamdi Kanu said that his life was under threat and that his place was invaded, and he alleged, I'm not the mouthpiece of Nnamdi Kanu here. Nnamdi Kanu also alleged that his life was under threat and that some persons died in the course of attacking him and attacking his home, even though he was on bail. Please hold your thoughts for a second. It's a whole wide range of discussion. If we want to discuss that, it can take you an hour because you have to look at both sides. Yes, government says he jumped bail, but yet Nnamdi Kanu also said that he did not just jump bail, that he ran for his life. There was an invasion of military on him and his people. At that point, he needed to be alive, and so he had to take to his heels. So the government has, Kingsley, like I said, you can devote a whole program to just this aspect, this topic you just raised. But for time, government, like I said the DSS earlier, and like I said earlier, the DSS has their own reason and government for still keeping him. But I am very sure that this current administration will revisit that matter. Because what we want peace in the southeast, Kingsley. We don't want war. Like one of the callers said, he is wrong. Government, he says government cannot say they don't know about. No, please. When you are saying government, be specific. Are you talking about government at the center or government at the state levels? Here we are talking about one individual in Finland making pronouncements because a lot of persons have been killed. The fear has been instilled so much in the heart of the people in the southeast that when that man makes that pronouncement in Finland, in faraway Finland. So there's this thing about, and we've got to go, but let's just very quickly talk about this, because you've mentioned and emphasized Finland over and over again, and I'm sure that you're referring to Simon Ekpa. We'll talk about that in a moment. Let's very quickly take this call, which would be the last for the segments before we take your last thoughts on the show. Hello there, good morning.
Good morning.
Hi, good morning to you.
Good morning. My name is Shola.
Shola, you're welcome.
On a more serious note, sincerely speaking, federal government or DSS does not have any reason to keep him. Similar scenario happened in Niger Delta, and the same category of miscreants are the one they are using to protect our oil today. Why don't you release him and negotiate with him and let him be a peacekeeper in that region, not making things more complicated. Sit down and count the head count of people that have died in this terrorism or each act for that period that they have kept him. Who is responsible for all these things?
So if you did if you did that for the Niger Delta, do same for the southeastern part.
If the strategy if it works fine in Niger Delta, it can work anywhere else. There's no point going around a cycle and spending 40 years in the wilderness when you have the solution right in your front like this.
Oh dear. All right, Ishola, thank you so much for your contribution. Appreciate it. All right, and unfortunately, the lines too are not so favorable for Shola. Well, Chief Momoh Darlinghtyn, because we've got to go very quickly. The last caller was, just recommended that if you did this for the Asari Dokubos and the rest in the Niger Delta, then maybe you should do same for the southeastern part of the country and let peace reign. Something you've mentioned as well. But very quickly, you were talking about Finland and referencing Simon Ekpa's continuous stay abroad and giving orders for destruction in Nigeria. What's the solution to this? If that is the case, I'm sorry, one sec. If that's the case, can't Nigeria, the Nigerian government, go into some form of negotiation, diplomatic conversation with Finland to say, all right, there's an individual in your country who's doing this. Can we have this person stop this because this amounts to this and that? Or is there a bigger picture than this, really?
Kingsley, there's a bigger picture, and the bigger picture is very simple. Release Nnamdi Kanu on bail. If you release Nnamdi Kanu on bail, make him the ambassador of peace in the southeast, and then mop up arms, small arms and light weapons circulating. Already disarm the ESN. Use Nnamdi Kanu to disarm the ESN. And all of those, create a program and then provide alternative livelihood for these persons who are already bearing arms. Mop up arms with the use of Nnamdi Kanu, there will be peace. Without small arms and light weapons so much, illicit arms circulating there will not be, all of this will come to a stop. Kingsley, if a man approaches you on the road now and says, oh boy, give me your handset, without him holding anything, the first thing you consider is the size of that man. Okay? You will tell him no. But if a man comes to you with a shotgun or an assault rifle and says, Kingsley, before he says, give me your phone, you will give him your phone and take to your heels. So what we need at the moment is peace in the southeast. Releasing Nnamdi Kanu, using Nnamdi Kanu as peace ambassador. Then the second phase will be mop up arms in the south. If there are too much arms in circulation in the southeast,
I'm curious.
And provide alternative livelihood for those of them whose lives have depended on carrying small arms.
Now, I'm curious, to know, because just like Shola mentioned, if you can do this for the Niger Delta, then this can be done as well. But with the Niger Delta, when they went into the negotiations with them, they were willing to embrace this amnesty.
They are two different
right?
things.
They were willing to embrace it. Are we sure? Are we sure? Exactly my point. That's why I'm raising this. Are we sure that Nnamdi Kanu wants to do this? You listen to the man from the past and some of the things he said about Nigeria and the entity Nigeria. Are we sure he wants to go down this path? Are we sure that what you are offering is that this man would accept this?
Kingsley, if those demanding for the release of Nnamdi Kanu include the Ohaneze Indibu and include the governors of the southeast, it meant that if you release Nnamdi Kanu onto this set of people, these are the people that will regulate his activities.
All right.
Because these persons will be owing the federal government the responsibility of ensuring that what they promised must be met. And let me say this, Kingsley. The conflict that we had at the Niger Delta is different from this conflict in the southeast. There are two different conflicts, and the approaches must be different. The Niger Deltans who had that struggle were seen as freedom fighters. They were not killing people. They merely obstructed the source of income of Nigeria. They were blowing up your pipes, and they ensured that you do not export as much as possible and to earn as much as possible for your country to carry out your economic activities.
But both were acts of terrorism, weren't they?
Acts of terrorism, you called it. I call them freedom fighters.
All right. Different terms.
People who were neglected, people who had the resources, the goose that was laying the golden egg that was abandoned. You merely go there, you go to the chicken house, you pull off the egg, you fry it, you use it to feed Darlington. And then you forgot about the goose. Right. You don't take care of it, you don't feed it.
Chief
and then the same thing.
Chief
they
Momoh,
were not
Darlington.
On the streets,
We've got to go.
And killing people.
Let's leave things there for now. Hopefully, in coming days we can have, not this kind of conversation. Maybe a more improved, for want of better words, situation, a better improved situation, and we'll be talking some more the developments in terms of security in the southeastern part of the country and indeed across the country. But we want to at this point thank you so much, security consultant and one-time consultant to the Presidential Committee on Small Arms and Light Weapons, Chief Umoru Momoh Darlington. Thank you so much for being on the program.
My pleasure, any day, anytime. My service to the country.
All right. Have a nice day.
Thank you, Counsel.
Yeah.
Alrighty, that's the conversation right there on security in the country. Well, again, we hope that the situation improves. Indeed, Nigeria just gets better. Right. Okay, so let's go on a short break now. When we're back from this break, we'll take Industry Hub. We've got some details to provide you, especially as regards taxes in Nigeria. If you run a business in Nigeria, you should pay attention to the next segment and carefully to do stay tuned.
You're welcome to the Industry Hub on the Low FM Morning Show. This is Low FM 103.9. Strap yourself in because we're set up, switched on, and ready to go
on Low FM 103.9.
And discover what you can do right now.
All the youths in Nigeria, let me assure you that no matter what you are going through, the future is bright. You are the future. You have the power to create the future. Don't let anybody use you as gangster or thug or violent political followers. Just stay within the law. And by the grace of God, Nigeria will be better. I'm Olufemi Pedro, and you are listening to Law FM 103.9 for knowledge and entertainment.
You're welcome to the Industry Hub on the Low FM Morning Show.
Alrighty, let's get down to Industry Hub this morning. Guess what? There is some succor for business owners in Nigeria. Maybe not.
Yeah. So if you run a business in Nigeria, there's some good news for you, as the FIRS, that's the Federal Inland Revenue Service, has extended the deadline for you to submit your company income tax return for 2023 year of assessment to. So this extension is till the 31st day of August 2023. As a business owner, whatever business you run, you're expected to file your tax returns because it's a civic duty, it's a responsibility that all businesses are expected to comply with. So this was made known by Mohammed Nami. Mohammed Nami is the FRS executive chairman chairman. He said the extension is in response to numerous calls for companies who fail to meet up the initial deadline. Initial deadline is usually on the 30th day of June. So, well, depending on how when your company was incorporated, but usually 30th of June is usually the deadline for you to file. Some companies might file January, depends. So he said that this is a measure of goodwill and is in line with relevant provisions of the company's income tax and the service directs as follows. So number one, all companies whose CIT, that's company income tax returns for 2023 fall due between 30th of June and 31st of August 2023. Both days inclusive are given up to 31st of August 2023 to submit the returns to the service. Secondly, the extension of the due date is a one-off gesture for only 2023 CIT returns, which is due as aforesaid. The relevant company income tax returns shall therefore not attract late filing penalties. You know that if you've are a day late in filing your tax returns, there is a penalty attached. But the Federal Inland Revenue Service is, setting this off taking this off this penalty of companies. So no late filing penalty or interest for late payment if submitted to the service on or before the 31st day of August 2023. Where relevant CIT returns are not filed by the extended date, penalty and interest for late payment shall be computed from the original due date and not the extended date. The NAMI also moved on to say that the extension of filing date is only for CIT and does not include for withholding tax. Your withholding tax is usually when you buy a property. There's a tax attached to it, value added tax, which is 7.5%, which we've talked about for several we've talked extensively on value added tax, which is 7.5%. It does not include that. It also does not include your personal income tax, which is your payee. Personal income tax you pay to, if you are not a federal government worker, you pay that to, the state government. He encouraged taxpayers to take the opportunity afforded by the extension to submit their CIT returns within the specified time, pay the taxes due, and avoid payment of penalty and interest. So that's basically from the FIRS. So your company income tax returns filing has now been extended. It doesn't mean that you will not pay. It is just saying that filing that tax returns. Another thing we should also notice that it doesn't mean that you don't pay these taxes. So you have to pay these taxes as and when due. However, the returns is just like the paper documentation that you have to do with FIRS. FIRS is now saying that the time for you to do that, usually 30th of June, has now been extended to 31st of August. So if your tax, you're supposed to pay your company income tax in, say, towards the ending of July, you have to make that payment. But to file the returns, to do your paperwork documentation and all that is now what has been extended to August 31st.
So there you go. That's information for you, and you definitely need to go do your research a lot more. We've provided you the knowledge you need to know, the direct information from the Federal Inland Revenue Service, but you need to do a lot more, so you're not caught on the wrong side of the law. And you want to, as much as possible, get your business going. So go get things done as I went you. And we would definitely catch you on the flip side of this short break when we'll bring you Social Boss. Do stay safe and stay tuned, more like.
It's Super Social on the Social Buzz. The Social Buzz on the Low FM Morning Show.
Let's talk. Let's converse. Let's have fun.
It doesn't get better than this. Does it?
103.9 Low FM.
I will implore you, in addition to your course of study, whether you want to migrate, whether ASU is on strike, acquire one or two skills. Short skills that will always be relevant. Please, you never can know where you will need such skill. I am Engineer Olaomi Gaspar, and you're listening to Law FM 103.9.
The passion to be creative, innovative, to climb higher and take the lead is what drives us on the station that inspires. This is Law FM 103.9 for knowledge and entertainment.
You are the leaders of the country today. Tomorrow has come. Law is meant to be understood by everyone in society, irrespective of age or status. No bias. It should be clear and precise. Law FM 103.9 gives you the best content, and they are here for you. My name is Khadija Okunulamidi, and I urge you to keep listening to Law FM 103.9.
It's super social on the Social Buzz. The Social Buzz on the Law FM Morning Show.
Let's go check out the trends, Ma, before we close the show this morning. Real quick, so top of the trends this morning is Jide Kosoko, and that's regarding entertainment. Also trending is F16. It's trending in politics. Vaseline is also trending. Peter Obi is trending. David Datro Fofana is trending in football. Kwaja is trending also this morning. De Bruyne is trending football as well. Well, the Nigerian National Petroleum Company (NPC) is trending. Hedis is trending. I suppose Nikki would provide you some details as regards that on Entertainment Daily. That you want to stay tuned for that from 12 o'clock. Umoru is also trending, but a lot of trends, right? But if you go down somewhere there, you'll find Pastor Boju also trending. Why is Pastor Boju Oyemade trending on social media? Now, the senior pastor of Covenant Christian Center, that's Boju Oyemade, has come under fire from supporters of Peter Obi, presidential candidate of the Labour Party, over his social media post. Oyemade, you would know, is the host of the platform which attracts resource persons to discuss matters affecting the nation, and Obi was a frequent feature on the platform. But in a recent post tagged the wisdom of Solomon, Pastor Boju made reference to the judgment of Solomon in the Bible, in which King Solomon ruled between two women claiming to be the mother of a child. Although the cleric did not mention any name or make reference to any political matter, the tweet was seen as questionable, especially with the post-election outcome sparking a backlash and fierce criticism. Well, he had written, quote, Solomon in his wisdom wanted to find out who the mother of the child truly was. He had a dilemma for the two women who claimed the child was theirs. Back then, there was no DNA test, so this could only be solved through unusual wisdom. Solomon said to bring out a knife and attempt to kill the baby. Whoever truly owned the baby will rather have the baby live, even if not with her, than to see the child die. There and then the owner of the baby was revealed, for a true mother will rather see her baby live with another than witness the baby crying in deep pain as she bleeds to death under the slice of a sharp knife. And he wrote Selah. Alright, but that post attracted a flurry of reactions across Twitter. Many alleged that the cleric blocked them because of their opposing views, and several reactions followed. Well, let's look at some of those comments following this particular tweet by Pastor Boju Oyemade. And one said, this is from Charm Extover, says, since the sham elections, everyone on the opposing side has pushed obedience. They stole our mandate and asked us to go to court. We did. They said we shouldn't come out to protest and allow the courts to do their job, but they come out to protest. We allow the courts to do their job. All right, it's quite a long one. We'll leave it there. Dr. Kelvin Alaneme posited. You cannot gaslight your way to truth. As a pastor, you are meant to be an apostle of truth, but alas, it's a shame to see you unraveling. Retrace your steps before it's too late. You know the truth. Only that truth will set you free. All right. Another commentator, Dr. Kelechi Ugonna, said, "Thank you, Pastor Boju." And the disciples asked him, "What is the meaning of this parable?" And he said unto them, "The baby is the seat of power in Nigeria. The mothers are the presidential candidates in the past election, and Solomon is the judiciary." Okay, this is another long one, but this person continues to say, that's Dr. Kelechi Ugonna says, "The mother who stole the baby is that candidate who was illegally declared the winner with fraudulent document, and he did not care if he's putting a knife through the heart of democracy in Nigeria. He wanted the prize at all costs. The other mother is the one who chose the path of peace through the courts to reclaim his stolen mandate and asked his people to follow the process." And there are several comments continuing there. Again, well, when this was posted, Pastor Koju did not mention any particular political matter or reference that, but maybe because he's referenced the political matter in the past, and so immediately lots of persons jumped on this and gave it a political tone. Maybe that was what he meant, maybe not, we would never know. But we hear now that he's blocked a few persons for responding to his tweets, and we're not sure why. We cannot say, but anyway, there's an uproar right now on Twitter after he blocked a lady who called him out for using football analysis to urge Nigerians to move on from the 2023 presidential election. And that's the tone Twitter is giving things right now.
Well, I have few comments for this because, like we usually say, the matter is in court. Though he had not specifically referenced the ongoing litigation in court, which even at this stage they are filing their final written addresses and their responses to the final written addresses. But you could see this in different lights, really, because someone was trying to interpret this to say the baby the politicians are the mothers, and then Solomon is the judiciary. How about if you turn it the other way to say that, because you know that one of the mothers was like, no, I mean, anything can happen. Let democracy go to, let any of the child, go to, for short of word, anything can happen. Let the heaven collapse. But one of them was very concerned to say, no, let it not. We have to go through the process. You could see it in different light. So since he had not referenced any political party, he has not said that this is for, I'm referring to this political party, I think we just have to leave it at that. For me. Yeah.
Okay. Do we have time for? Yes, we can squeeze in one call or two before we go. What do you think of this tweet by Pastor Bojo Yumade? And the involvement of the church or certain figures, because some persons have also mentioned that if you represent a religion, you probably should not be involved in politics or make comments like this in public and the rest. You can join the conversation and drop your comment on Facebook, or we're streaming live at facebook.com/LawFM103.9, or you use the hashtag LawFM Morning Show and talk to us via Twitter. Use the hashtag LawFM Morning Show, Twitter at LawFM_radio. On Instagram as well at LawFM Radio. We definitely would love to hear from you what you think and join the conversation. You can go there on Twitter and be part of the conversation as well. We've got to draw the curtains here on the show today, and we'll be back again tomorrow for the Wednesday midweek edition of the LawFM Morning Show. We cannot do so without saying thank you so much for allowing the team be here, be a part of your morning.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a very good experience, very interesting experience, getting to talk about security, talking about the newspaper review and the FRS issues. I mean, thank you so much. It's Felix, Uzoma.
Kingsley, Bassey is my name. Let's link up again tomorrow, 9 o'clock till 11 on the LawFM Morning Show. In the meantime, stick around. at the top of the hour, you'll definitely be hearing from Daniela. And then she'll be talking about something very, very interesting.
Absolutely.
You can go to social media and find the post right there, and it's an interesting one about why your spouse is attracted to singles. You've always wondered why. What can I do to please this man? What can I do to please this lady? Why? All right, and guess what? There's a special guest in the building as well. You want to stick around for that. I will see you again. Do stay safe. Keep it locked here on Law FM 103.9. Good morning.